you very much for the introduction, Peter. Unfortunately, we have to do it on English because our Swedish is not as good as our English. But anyway, it's a pleasure to be here again. It always well-organized conference, this Sedermeradagen, so we really enjoy to be here. My name is Ulrik Krasilnikov. I'm CEO and CFO of Curasight, and together with co-founder, CSO and CMO, Professor Andreas Kjær, we will take you through this exciting case and also what we can do for all the cancer patients. What we are talking about is, first of all, as you can see, this picture is about PET scanner technology, but also within therapeutic options. First, a short disclaimer. This is I would call it a Magetan tube for what we are actually doing. Our mission is to improve the cancer treatments with accurate diagnosis and also provide a more gentle and targeted radionuclide therapy. And Andreas will take you through that. First of all, we have developed two platforms, a diagnostic platform named uTRACE, based on a unique biomarker. And also based on that, we have also now developed a uTREAT platform within treatment, radionuclide treatment. Our team in Curasight is a not well known, but very experienced people within the industry, pharma industry, and take companies from the laboratory to the final end. And furthermore, we are stepping into a very attractive market within the nuclear medicine market. I will just give you a flavor on that. And furthermore, one of our strategy going forward is to develop products and then enter partnerships with big pharma who can take the product to the markets. And not least, we are well funded right now and expect to have the funding in place well into next year. This is a very important milestone for Curasight in general. This month, we announced that we have entered into a global partnership agreement for uTRACE in prostate cancer only with Curium. And Curium is one of the largest radiopharmaceutical companies in the world. And they are it's really a milestone for Curasight to gain this agreement because first of all, it boosts our technology. And furthermore, it validates also the business case we have within this specific indication. The purpose is that we will develop the final product together with Curium in order to obtain an NDA filing for FDA. And then they will produce and distribute and sell the product globally. We cannot go into specific details about the milestones in general, but in total we are expected to get up to around $70 million for development and commercial purpose. And when we are also eligible for a double-digit royalty based on the sales will come afterwards. And this is just one example how we expect to leverage our strategy by partnerships. And it is always difficult to get the first company to step on the ice, but this will definitely, hopefully, pave the way for other partnerships also. Very shortly, for those of you who are not familiar with the Curasight, we are a late-stage company founded back in 2013 by Andreas Kjær and some from his research team. So right now we have 10 years birthday in this month, and this is also based on more than 10 years of academic research. Until now, we have raised around 20 million euro, where we are right now. I have a very good cash position still. We are dealing with two platforms, one for diagnostic purpose, which is named uTRACE. And then we also right now develop a therapeutic platform, which is named uTREAT. Our main focus right now is on, of course, of prostate cancer, but also on brain cancer, and Andreas will come back to that also. And why is that Curium has entered this agreement? It is because it's very broadly tested. We actually tested uTRACE in 8 different cancer indications. It has been tested in more than 400 patients, and by that proven to be safe and well tolerated. So we feel we are sitting on a good platform. We also have a very strong IP position, and we continue to strengthen our IP position by granting new patents continuously. So, in general, we have a good basis for expanding the company. This is just to give you an idea how the market is expected to grow in the future, and this is mid-range interest, and they are very have deep insight in this market in general, and it is expected to grow about a sixfold within the next 10 years, and the growth factor is, among others, growing population and aging population, which unfortunately causes increases number of cancers, and then also the wider use of nuclear medicine around the world will also increase the market in general, and then the introduction of new radiopharmaceuticals like U-Trace and U-Treat will also expand the market. Yes, then I'll hand over to Andreas.
Thank you very much, Ulrik. So yeah, also for me a pleasure to be here and talk a little bit about the technology. Start out with an image of the pipeline. UPAR, I come back to that, is a cancer target, but it's not specific for a specific type of cancer. So it can be basically used in almost all solid cancers. We are focusing in 4 different cancer types. As Ulrik mentioned, we have U-Trace, which is the imaging part, and U-Treat, which is the treatment part. It might be worth to mention that the collaborative agreement, the contract that was made with Curium, only is in one indication and only on the imaging. So it's so there's the orange part on prostate cancer. That is the deal that was made only on that little piece. So there's still therapy in all the indications and imaging in many indications still. But we focus on brain cancer, prostate cancer, neuroendocrine tumors, and head and neck cancer. And this is basically our bandwidth. We could and have also been testing in more indications. So what we do is that we move radiotherapy from external beam radiation therapy to radiotherapy you inject. This is a much more gentle way because you inject it, it seeks out the cancer, sits there and irradiates locally. I come back to that. So we move radiotherapy into a new era, a new way. I think this is radiotherapy of tomorrow. It's worth noting that 50% of all cancer patients, regardless of type of cancer, sometime through the therapy will receive radiation therapy. So the concept of radiation is well established and is here to stay. The platform is made up of U-Trace, that of course is tracing, so that's imaging, and U-Treat, that is the therapy. And it's based on the same molecule that binds to the cancer target, and it comes in 2 varieties, 2 versions, one with harmless radiation for imaging and one with harmful radiation for treating the cancer. Together, this is called a theranostic pair, so it's therapy and diagnostics. And the beauty about that is really that you can predict how your therapy will work, but I come back to that. The marker, as mentioned, is UPAR. It's a cancer marker that sits on cancer cells, but almost not on healthy tissue. Why is this important? When we use it as a target for radiotherapy locally with 1 millimeter range, we irradiate the cancer cells, also the metastasis, but not the healthy tissue. So this is why this is much more gentle than external radiation therapy. And the pairing of doing imaging and therapy with the same compound is, we believe, very smart, because what you see is what we treat. So what you see up here is a patient, and I have to move a little bit around. You have the cancer here on an MRI, and this is U-Trace that is taken up. That's why it's red glowing in the cancer. But this is not therapy, but it's just 100% will predict where the therapy goes, because it's the same compound that bounds in the same way. So if this hadn't lightened up in this patient, one would not proceed into therapy. So this is how U-Trace can be used to predict if we should treat with radiotherapy. It can also be used as a standalone tool, and that is what we're doing with Curium, because it's a marker of cancer aggressiveness. So the more uptake there is, the more aggressive is the cancer. And that's the idea in prostate cancer about using this, making this non-invasive biopsy to following people with localized prostate cancer. The imaging, as Ulrik mentioned, has been tested across 8 cancer types in more than 400 patients. So this radiotherapy of tomorrow, as I already mentioned, is going to be more gentle, and because it has such a short range, it will not irradiate to the same extent healthy tissue. And that means more patients can also be treated. In brain cancer, that is the first indication we will go for with the therapeutic part. You can see the concept or the differences here. On the left, you see how external radiation therapy is done today. You have an accelerator and you irradiate from different angles from the outside. You accumulate most radiation in the tumor, but as you can see here in the yellow and the blue coloring, you do irradiate the rest of the brain because you also shoot through healthy tissue. And this goes for any cancer. When you inject radiotherapy that binds to the tumor and then is excreted from the rest of the body, then you get a much more effective therapy without irradiating the surrounding tissue. And in most patients, irradiation of healthy tissue today will limit the amount of radiation therapy you can give. So the potential here is that you can also make more efficient treatment, and by the end of the day, what we want to do is really to make a difference for cancer patients. So we are moving forward on a lot of different areas here, therapy and imaging, and there are some interesting milestones coming up before July 1st. We expect that the data from the investor-initiated study in glioblastoma in brain cancer, from where you saw the one image of a cancer that lighted up, will be communicated. That was a study in 30 patients, and then also the efficacy study in preclinical models of human brain cancer on the therapeutic part. And then before end of year, applications for late stage phase 2/3 trial will be submitted hopefully to both FDA in the US and in Europe. So with that, we believe that Curasight is on the way to make a difference for millions of cancer patients across solid cancer patients, and we are thankful that many have supported the company to get where it is, because that of course is a necessity if we want to make a difference for the patients. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ulrik and Andreas, for an exciting presentation. I want to talk a little more about your big agreement with Curium. Can you elaborate a little bit what this means to you from a technological and also a clinical point of view?
First of all, technology, it means really a lot, because they are the experts also within this field, and they had demonstrated also with other products like the TechNet that they could take a product similar to uTrace to the market, which has been a considerable success for Curium. And they have a big organization also, and that is all. We are only a minor company, so you get really the empowerment to do the right thing in the last end, also when you interact with the FDA.
Yeah, it's I think they have presence in 60 countries or something.
Yes.
Can you also talk a little bit about how they can help you with commercial and from a strategic point of view?
They are, as you say, they are already in 60 countries around the world, and they also have production facilities. First of all, in the US, but they're also considering production facilities in the EU. But they have the knowledge, they have the power to expand also the production facilities, but also the distribution and the sales organizations. They are already in place, so to say. So that is important for us because we are focusing on developing the products, not to build up large sales organizations. They are better for that, I would say.
And you also talked, you have a lot of other indications.
Yeah.
And for Curium, it was just for prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Are you seeking for additional partnerships for the other indications?
Yeah, I cannot say so much about it because it's confidential. We are a listed company, but we also talk with others. And of course, this announcement with Curium, of course, also some of them have been sitting on the fence, but now they are waking up. Because also they are, I would say, within the next couple of years, I think there will be some race try to picking up the right assets for the big pharma, and then combined with the low prices at the stock at the moment, then it's more attractive for the big pharmas to interact with companies like us.
I think just a comment on that, it's fair to say, I mean, I've been in this for 20 years, when it was still nerdy. For the first 10 years I worked with it, nobody believed in it. Then things were getting traction, and since a company like Novartis acquired 2 startup companies within this field, Big Pharma has realized that it might be true what I'm saying or preaching, that in 10 years I think this will almost entirely have replaced external radiation therapy. Not our technology only, but the concept of targeted radionuclide therapy. So radiotherapy you inject that is much more gentle. So we are seeing traction that suddenly everybody are looking in this direction, and it's not just for aficionados, but it's becoming mainstream in pharma for cancer. Definitely, and will be one of the main pillars, because radiation therapy is one of the main pillars, together with surgery and chemotherapy and the other things that are always used in combination. So it's going to be very exciting, and I think we are, because we are believers before most were believers, we are well positioned to be far ahead and far relatively advanced once people are looking in this direction.
Very interesting. Time flies, and I think it's time for next company. Thank you very much.
Thank you.